Have you ever wondered if you handle the situation properly? I know I have. Well, you're welcome to SIP. Here, we say it properly. And we're looking forward to having you on each episode as we learn together how to say it properly. I am MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. See you then. Hello, you're welcome to Say It Properly. I'm MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA and I'm your host. It's been an amazing time, honestly. Saying it properly with you has taught me a lot myself, and it's an exciting journey. I hope that we're going to have a long, time together. What have you learned? What have you learned to say properly? Today we're going to be talking about alcohol and drugs. Yes, alcohol and drugs when it comes to our children and our teenagers. So many of our editions are focused on them because they're the next generation, and we get it right with them by saying it properly. It means that our future is secure. So I have a little story to share with you here today. Ohigana and her brother Adakole attend the same high school. They are smart, social, and popular among their peers. Both of them are on the honor roll and are set to be prefects next year as they go into their final year. A week ago, their dad, who is a pastor, as well as the CEO of a large organization, gets a call from the school, and he had to rush down. On his way, he called his wife, who had also received the call and was on her way. Adakole and 3 other students, 1 female inclusive, were caught drinking alcohol out of a water bottle after lunch. His parents were confused because they had not noticed any difference in him at home. So they wondered what was going on. Their house was alcohol and drug free, and they had taught their twins to stay away from such things. In fact, when they turned 13, they enrolled them in the MAD program, Mothers Against Drugs program, where they learned about all the evils of alcohol and drugs and how it can change their lives. So they just wondered, what happened? Where did they go wrong? What did they miss? Was Ohigana drinking as well? Are they drinking more than alcohol? Is there drugs involved? These are the typical questions that flood the minds of parents when they are faced with such a discovery. Has it happened to you or to a friend? Or are you dealing with it right now? First and foremost, I want to tell you that I say it properly, we know it's not the end. And it's going to work out at the end of the day. If you learn to say this properly and work with that child. So first and foremost, note that most teenagers and young adults are aware of the danger of alcohol and drugs. They know. They've heard it, they've learned about it. They might not know everything, but they know that it is dangerous. They know, and they know what can happen to them. But we also have to remember that their age is a big factor in their exposure and the law for alcohol and drugs. And that's the part that most of us as parents forget. That at that age, there's that appeal where you're thinking, let me try it. What does it taste like? How would it feel? The desires for our children not to get into that, but the age factor. Another factor is, before we, so we understand where we're going with this. Another factor is the fact that alcohol has become so much more attractive than when you were growing up. So if you have teenage children, I'm certain when you were growing up, alcohol was not this attractive. Now you have alcohol laced with all kinds of things. You have strawberry, you have lemon, apple something. Laced alcohol with all kinds of fruity flavors and names, but these children just find it appealing. It means that the war is even stronger now. And we have to say it properly for them to understand. So first and foremost, what is your family policy on alcohol and drugs? For your children to understand what it is, you must have a family policy. Do you believe that you should not drink at all? Or do you believe that you should drink when you're older? Whatever it is in your home, you must say it properly and state it to your children. Not just one meeting. It has to be a lifetime. How are you portraying it in your home as well? How are you carrying on? Are you saying to them, no alcohol, no drugs, and yet they can see that every single day that he gets drunk? Or his mommy is sipping something from her bag that they see. So you have to ask yourself, even as you want to say it properly to them, are you living it properly? Are they seeing you do it right? That's another point that you have to look at. Keep communication lines open. Once it comes to parenting and children, especially teenagers, young adults, you have to keep communication lines open. Are they afraid to speak to you? Will your child come to you and say, Mom, someone offered me marijuana in school today? Or are they so scared of saying it? We have to realize that the communication lines that are short can shut down the lives of these teenagers and children. Because they take counsel from somebody else and you would not know about it. Keep communication lines open. What about conversation starters? That's the part I like. To just have conversations. You don't have to have a family meeting. You could just be hanging out generally, watching TV, being in a car, being somewhere, and just start it. Say something like, wow, this is an example. Like we always say here, we give examples and then you tweak it to fit your situation. Sonjo got suspended for because the teacher found marijuana in his bag in school. Do you know about that? That's just a starter. It's not for you to start a sermon. It's for you to hear what they think. When you hear what they think, then you can begin to say properly by correcting the impression if it is negative. On the other hand, if you interject immediately and start a sermon, guess what happens? They shut down, they listen to you, and they do probably the opposite. Communication lines again, but with a conversation starter this time. Wait for their responses. That's saying it properly. That is saying it properly. Wait for their responses. When you start a conversation, what's their response? What is he saying? What is she saying? What about body language? Are you checking the body language? The body language will tell you much more than the words that they are speaking. Alcohol and drugs. I see that many countries have actually legalized the use of marijuana for medical purposes. What do you think? Do you think it's good? Do you think it would work here in your country? I don't know where you're viewing us from. And you can ask your child that. Make it easy so that they can talk and say, oh yes. Well, I asked that question. And I got all kinds, I was shocked. I said, yes, I think medical marijuana is something good because I know, and I was just looking like, wow. Because that's the research that they see out there. And so that's your opportunity to now begin to tell them, like, you know, that's for people that are sick and have maybe lupus or some other disease. It's not just for recreational use. There's a difference between recreational marijuana use and medical. And even with the medical, the jury is still out on that in many countries. People are thinking, is this really true? Can this really work? I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not a researcher on that. But what I'm saying is, bring up these conversations so that you can say things properly to your children before they learn from other people. So what if you discover that your child has dabbled in alcohol? Yes, you will get mad if that's your policy in your house that you don't drink. You will get very upset. You'll be disappointed. But after all those emotions and feelings, where do you want to stop? You're going to go back to being a parent. You're going to go back to realizing that this is your work with this child. And so you have to sit that child down and tell them, yes, you're unhappy with them. Yes, you're sad. Yes, you're disappointed, but you know it's not the end of the road. Did you see what we did there? You express your emotions, but you also let them know that there's still a way of escape. In the past, many parents have thrown their children out. Oh yes, this boy is on drugs already. He's out there. That's not the right way, because what you have done is to push that child to those that will actually destroy him or her. Coincidentally, my parents on Sunday, I called to check on them. And they're telling me what a wonderful time they had with some uncles of mine. Some uncles came around to visit them. And they're like, wow, my mom said, you think you have problems, and when you hear other people, then you would know that it's not the end. These respectable uncles in society now, married men, because it was like a men's meeting with my father, but of course, grandma got in because she would give them food and all that. And they're telling her the kind of things that they did as boys. And she saw what they were now. And she was amazed. And she said, you should never give up on any child. That's a grandmother realizing that. Because maybe she didn't say some things properly to her children, my brothers and my sister, and maybe me. Important for us to note. Don't give up on that child. Don't give up. Some parents, in the bid to be cool and laid back, say things like, I know you may want to experiment, be careful. Big mistake. Yes, I say that. Because what you have done is to give that child a free check. You're giving that child the license to do whatever they desire. Because you did not put a caveat there. You did not put a control. You said, be careful. What does be careful mean to someone that is drunk? Alcohol impedes the thinking faculty. You can't think and make good decisions when you're drunk. So you can't say be careful at that time. So what you need to say, in order to say it properly to them, is, I know that it might be tempting to taste alcohol or to do this, but I want you to realize that there are consequences, which is more important. Are you stating the consequences? There are consequences. There are people that have become such, important people in society, but because of something that they did at that time when they were youth, when they were young, that's a dark spot that they're trying to deal with. You can give that example and help your children understand. But the bigger part of everything is to know that it's not the end of the road. Yes, you might not have alcohol in your house. Yes, you don't want them to go on drugs. But if one way or the other, like Ohigana and Adakole's parents found out that their son was drinking, what do? You say it properly by letting them know that the communication lines are open. You say it properly by letting them know that you are there to support them and that they can get over this. You say it properly by being there for them as parents. I hope that today you have gotten something. Are you dealing with that situation? Well, it's not over yet. It's how you handle it. It's what you say that will make it end, whichever way it goes. But for it to end properly, please say it properly. See you next time and stay blessed.
Have you ever wondered if you handle the situation properly? I know I have. Well, you're welcome to SIP. Here, we say it properly. And we're looking forward to having you on each episode as we learn together how to say it properly. I am MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. See you then.